Hey everybody, welcome back. We are doing some reactions. This is going to be to Good Witch, and we are on season 6, episode 8. Episode 8. This is called The Dream. We kind of, if I remember correctly, it's been, I think, 3 weeks since I've watched it, but we had kind of a nice wrap up with the last one, I think. And I know we've got maybe 3 episodes left. I think there's a total of 10. I'm not positive. But I also noticed that it says 7 seasons on Netflix, so I think they've released their seventh season as well. So we'll keep on going into that as well. But we are watching Good Witch, The Dream. I don't know where we're going, other than we're also still looking for the diamond, the Middleton diamond that goes with the ruby and the emerald. So that's the only thing that continues, other than Martha putting the house together, the Davenport house together, as the museum, I think is what she's trying to set it up as. So let's go ahead and get into it and see what's going on. And this works for Valentine's for me, especially since the ex tells me on Valentine's Day to just die. So he's just a little mad. He's mad that I'm not more mad about him being mad over little stuff. And this is 10 years after the breakup. Happy Valentine's Day.
Got a surprise for you.
Professor Alicia Barnes.
A possible teaching job.
I would love to inspire the
Oh, that's
students
right. I
to find
forgot
their
that
own
she was going to be
Rembrandts. Your life
teaching.
experience is invaluable.
Can you lower your arm?
I don't think so.
Tumor.
Oh, forgot about Adam's tumor.
Fix it.
Here, I'd give him a diagnosis of MS.
When did you put those in?
A good magician never reveals her secrets.
You should have been able to smell them cooking.
They've all been thoroughly Frenchified.
Who hasn't?
I'm counting on you.
Poor George.
George, may I introduce Henri?
Hey, Henry, how are you?
And I am going to be right here when you wake up.
You better be.
The last surgery I had to have, I was diagnosed around 3 o'clock at my local hospital, and they sent me to, I had to go to another hospital to have the surgery, and I could have gone to one that's in between the place where I ended up at, or go to the one I ended up at. And the one I ended up at have all my other records, so that's why I went ahead and chose them. And I was working for that hospital still. So I was supposed to have surgery at 8. Dad had my nephew up visiting, and so they saw me off at the local hospital. That he brought me my computer and everything, so I'd have that while I was recovering. And got there just as the ambulance arrived to take me, and got to the hospital. So I was supposed to. I think I got to the hospital around 5 or 7. I was supposed to have surgery at 8. Ended up not having surgery until 3 a.m. Hadn't eaten since 10 a.m. before I went to the hospital, and I wasn't able to keep that down. So I was really hungry, and Dad actually joined me in the waiting area where they have you, the pre-op area. He was sitting with me while we waited. There were some emergencies that went ahead of me, but he didn't walk me to the doors to the surgery room. So I don't know how accurate that actually is, where they show that all the time in film, of folks taking you straight to the surgery doors. But there is a pre-op area, and he was allowed to sit back there with me. There was one guy whose surgery went over, and then there was an emergency that they took back before me. And so that's why my time got pushed from 8 p.m. to 3 a.m. And there was a poor elderly fella in his 90s with kidney stone. We need to clip those claws. He had a kidney stone and he was asleep the whole time in the pre-op room, but I felt bad because he had been there in the pre-op room before I was, and they took me back first. And I was like, he's been waiting longer. So I guess they felt mine was more urgent. But yeah, and so every time I see them walking folks to the surgery doors, I'm like, that doesn't really happen though.
And minted in New York.
Is that good?
Only 100 coins like this were minted before they moved production. Tom has been.
New York, uh, there's Denver, Philadelphia, and San Francisco are the three minting areas. I've never heard New York being a minting area. And I only know those three because I have the pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters books where you collect them for each year, and it actually has a spot not only for each year but for each mint location that had them that year. Not all of them were printed at all three locations every year. So I've never heard of New York. I'll have to look and see if that's actually true.
And if there was, we would have heard. What do you think?
I think Joy and Abigail are right.
They usually do
And I think you
update
shouldn't
family
indulge in a
if
little
something
vending
has
machine
gone
therapy.
wrong or if they're struggling.
He did great.
So the other thing they show with Sam, which is kind of off, is they show him as a surgeon, but we see him doing family
I
practice
raise
type
you
of
two
medicine,
Oatmeal raisin.
and usually you do one or the other, not both at the same time.
I'm all in, kid.
So am I. Keep.
Oh,
A size straight.
I like you too, George.
royal flush.
Full boat.
Oh, does Full House beat straight ace high? I'll have to look up the rules. I haven't read my Hoyle book in a long time.
I have to go. My new professor wants the class to meet at the museum. I'll save you a seat.
She disappeared awfully fast.
It was under a couch cushion all night.
You didn't charge it?
I didn't know it was there until you called me this morning. Maybe I'll get
What's wrong
coffee.
with Donovan?
You don't need
Something's up.
You flatter us, Martha.
They prefer George's style.
How do we break up?
Well, it's kind of blurry, but I saw you guys standing under a crescent moon.
It's the curse.
Doesn't mean they won't get back together. Their relationship has been up and down, so.
I want you to squeeze my fingers.
Not squeezing hard.
On the right hand.
I thought I was.
He's got some nerve damage.
Well, how long does it last?
Everyone's different. Could be a few hours. Could be a few days.
Could be a lot longer than that.
Is he
And
ready?
since it's the hand, it's higher up on the spine
Confident. Get
than
the movement back.
down low. That's also the same hand that was affected with the tumor itself, though.
Pizarro moved to Paris from a small town. He felt lost in the crowd, anonymous. This painting is his perspective.
Talking about moving from small town to a large town and all that kind of stuff, I've never liked city driving. When we've ever had to go to Charlotte, I've always dreaded it. Winston's bad enough. I don't even like driving in Boone, which is not really a city. It's a large town. It's a college town, but I don't like driving there. And so driving wise, I much prefer country and laid back and all that kind of stuff. As far as walking, I don't like walking in crowds either. And I know when I went to the Rose Bowl in 2017, that was the first time leaving a football game where I thought, oh my gosh, I might die because we were so packed in there. We were crushed. And I was holding on to one other lady and we got separated. I didn't know her. We were just trying to stay together because she wasn't liking the crowd either. And we got separated. It was so crushed. but it's one of those things where you just got to go with the flow of the crowd. So by the time the crowd opened up, I was finally able to stop and take a look around to see if I could find the car, which I found it pretty quickly, luckily. So I just sat in the car and waited for the guy I went to the game with, waited for him to show up. We had different tickets, all that kind of stuff. We were just saving on costs. So we traveled together, but past that, he had his own area and I was in my own. And then leaving any kind of leaving a football game or anything like that, it's always everybody's trying to get out at the same time. It's always crowded. I hate it. It's a hurry up and go type of thing. Um, you want to be the first in line, but you're sitting there for 2 hours. It's a little oxymoron going on, but perspective is a thing. There's other people that thrive on those crowds and love it and everything. So I'm not a big crowd person, vehicle wise or person wise, walking wise. So getting a weird sound in this ear. I pick and choose what I'm going to put myself into and what I'm going to endure, whereas other people just thrive off the crowds. But I forgot where I was at with my story. But COVID hit, and it's made me even more weary of crowds. So as far as my functioning and things, COVID has not helped with that. Hi, Jojo. What you doing? What you doing? So I'm one of those people that have done just fine just sitting at home and staying isolated. I've had no problem with that. But the only thing I missed the entire time of lockdown and waiting for things to open up was going to the movies. So, perspective. There's other folks that their mental health has gone downhill with COVID because they are so extroverted and such social people, and staying home and isolated has been the worst thing for them. So, perspective.
Tell me, will we be seeing any more of George?
They like George.
We have to find the other part of the cipher. Cracking the code is our best chance to break the curse.
Abby panics too easily.
You also have a point of view.
And only 30 minutes left to finish this assignment.
Maybe you already have.
Perspective.
If you went to France, would you want to eat meatloaf and apple pie?
Oh my.
Ah, the light bulb finally went off.
From that reaction, I'm guessing you're not willing to share.
You get your own crackers.
Hopefully when the swelling goes down, he'll get function in his hand again. They just have to wait and see.
Yeah. Dr. Redford left an iPad here for me.
Are they going to get George and Samantha together?
I have my good days.
I'm Samantha.
They are getting them together.
We just established that.
So she purposely paired her iPad up with his briefcase iPad so that he would take it to work so that George and Samantha would meet. Kind of seems like what happened.
Yeah, I thought it was a little odd going all French for the French.
And you waited until now to drop that pearl?
Would you have listened?
It's your... I bet Samantha would too.
Yep. Confirmed.
Should have known.
I don't know what to do. You know, I know that I want to help.
You are.
Sometimes I just sit there in silence.
We tend to want to fill the silences with talking or something like that. But something I learned early on is we got to be comfortable with the silence. It's not always awkward silence.
Oh, I'll be taking that. Thank you.
Got his frisbee back.
I was wrong about the dream.
Wrong how?
We don't break up?
No, you have to.
What are you talking about?
Breaking up is your only chance of being together.
Well, Donovan was right. The only thing that can break them up is themselves. So you're going to grab? Nope. Yep. Come on, George. Rooting for you. Oh, no. No. Go back, George. Samantha's going to approach.
You've no idea.
I get it. I take my snacks very seriously.
I guess this belongs to you.
We could split it.
That's awfully nice. I should be going.
Oh, no, George. Go back. Ah, it's going to break my heart.
Then again, we could always use a third.
Has a quick turnaround for her, teaching her to be flexible rather than rigid.
Loaded potato skin, cheese, bacon, sour cream.
I love potato skins.
All right, give me a bite. A traveler needs to help break the curse.
Is Joy
Great. Where do we
that
find
traveler?
the traveler?
Jory does make a pretty compelling argument.
Do you think we should?
They're learning to break the self-fulfilled prophecies.
Tough decision.
Well, we're not at the end of the show, though, yet.
Perfect choice.
Sliders.
My favorite.
Unless, of course, you need to get going.
I've got my sea legs back now.
I haven't been on a...
That was a good analogy. I love it.
I'm also up the proverbial creek without a snorkel.
I think you mean paddle.
Without a
Oh,
paddle.
no, I mean snorkel. I canceled the French musical entertainment, and now
Ah,
I'm drowning.
Sam's going to play his guitar.
Your lifesavers might be right here. Sam plays a mean guitar, and Stephanie...
We'll be sitting right here watching Sam play a mean guitar.
Your voice is amazing.
Yeah, in the car with the radio blasting.
If you don't do it, I don't do it.
And I would like to present you with this,
The coin.
Oh, this is important. I'm right in the middle of falling flat on my face. It is my distinct pleasure to present to you this token from America's 200th birthday.
She does have a pretty voice. You just call out my name.
And you know
wherever I go.
I think the closer we get to breaking the curse,
The worse it gets.
Is the diamond inside the ruby? You would think they would see the shape of the diamond inside the ruby when they're looking through it, but if you've got to break it to find it, they didn't have to. Abby just panics too easily and thinks they have to follow something just because a prophecy says they need to, or, stuff like that. So, of course, we didn't actually see them break up, so don't know how it actually went down. But I'm wondering if it's talking about the ruby. And so happy for George. I like the fact that he and Samantha are getting together. So that's kind of a nice way to bring that character in and keep her included. I think that's it on my comments on this episode. Not a lot to comment on. So thank you for joining me on this one, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.